we should just have this part board batting, this part horizontal, right?
Lopsided.
So lap side in here, yep. Board batting here. All right, so we're at our third spot for today. As you can see, I like this because now you kind of get to understand what goes on after the framing part. So you've seen one house that we're getting ready to do the final fixtures. You've seen another house where we was done with pretty much everything. Now we're at a house that we finished framing and we got all the mechanicals done. So the only thing that we're waiting for now is for the inspectors to come in and inspect all the mechanicals. Here in DeKalb County, we have to do all the mechanicals separately. So what are the mechanicals? That's your HVAC, that's your electrical, and that's your plumbing. And if you got any gas lines, you need to go ahead and get that done right now as well. So when we come through, I walk through, I like to see that a couple of things are done. So right now we're just walking in through the garage. We always have to do what's called a U-for ground. That's a ground rod that goes into the concrete, into the earth, right? And what this does is if you ever get, the house ever get electrocuted with lightning, it'll shoot through the house, shoot through this wire, shoot to this ground rod, and shoot down to the earth so that your house don't catch on fire or spark or blow anything. Whenever we have water lines that's coming to an exterior wall like this, we like to have it insulated. My electricians and my plumbers always make sure that when we go through the top plate are the two 2x4s that's stacked on each other. Anytime you go through the top plate, we always make sure that we put fire foam through anything like that. So I'm looking at all these little things. So for instance, this is my HVAC guy. They didn't do the fire foaming here. So they might ding us for that. We'll come through, we'll get a little can, we'll touch little things like that we see. This is gonna be the water heater. We already got the electrical panel, got all our wires running, ready to go. This is a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath house right here. When you come in, you got a little mud room, you got your half bath, so you can see, not all the time, but I try to emphasize to my guys to do a red and a blue water valve. The reason being is that if something ever happens, if you got the clear ones, you won't know which one is the hot water line and which one is the cold water line. So we like to have that color coordinated. Right here, you got your water line going to the toilet, half bath. Now, we did a lot of opening up on this floor plan. Because of that, you are able to see what I was saying, how this is not going to be flush. These big beams in the center are what we call LVL beams. These big beams right here are LVL beams. LVL beams are made and manufactured to handle the load because we're not having a wall here. So that allows that wall to be opened up and these LVL beams carry that load. Because of that, you cannot notch, you cannot drill into LVL beams. So when we did our HVAC, they had to run these HVAC very crazy in order to make sure that we're able to run HVAC throughout the house. So after HVAC was ran, we had to have our framers come back out here and they had to build chases around the HVAC system. So now when that's built out, just envision once it's done, we're going to drywall all of this. So you won't see it, but you're going to have a flat ceiling. It's going to drop down and go and then come back up. So you can kind of visually see that. To hold all this weight in this center point, we end up having to do an 8x8 post. As you can see, we got it anchored down here at the bottom. That anchoring is going to help it from touching the concrete. You don't want your post to touch concrete because concrete absorbs moisture. That moisture goes into the wood. Even though it's pressure treated, eventually it's going to start rotting out. So that's going to help this stay here forever. We walk into the kitchen. We had to do another chase here. This white pipe is our drainage pipe that's going out from the second floor. And we had to build another chase here. And that's going on down. You got your pantry. So you got to be able to visualize this stuff, right? You got your pantry, you got your living room, you got your sinks right here. You can see your water lines right here. You got your sink. We always make sure we run the conduit from over here on the wall over to here. This conduit is so that when we want to run our wiring to our island, it's already here. If you don't do this, then your electrician is going to have to break up the concrete, run the line, then come back and cover it up with concrete. So our electrician will do that, but instead of doing all that headache and all that time wasting, we go get a $12 pipe, conduit pipe, and run it ourselves whenever we're ready to pour our foundation concrete. We run it up under the wire mesh, and boom, it's there to go. We told you to, right here, let me talk about this. We built this out. This was an after effect. So we're going to put a fireplace here. We're going to put an electrical fireplace. So we built this wall out. You're going to have your plug for the fireplace. We're going to do a 3.5-inch depth fireplace. And then boom, you can put your TV up there. When you're doing houses, I always say your plan is just to start. It's definitely your plan and it's your end goal from beginning to end. But after you finish framing, things might change up. You might see things that you want to change. In this stage right here is when you change up anything that you need to change. We don't have a master on the main. This is not the master, but we do have a main bedroom with its own bathroom. We got our stand-up shower. We got our toilet. Unfortunately, you don't have a separate room for your toilet, but you got your toilet right here, and you got your closet, your walk-in closet right here. So you got to be able to visualize all that. You got your little window. Boom, boom, boom. So now if you got parents that come live with you, or even if you want to stay down here, you have the capability to have a bedroom downstairs with its own full bath, ensuite, and you already got the half bathroom. So now we're going to walk upstairs. This living room was an afterthought. So this was supposed to be a 2-story vaulted ceiling. So when you was downstairs, you'd be able to look up. And this actually was supposed to be a walkway right here. All of this was a walkway only. I talked to the mentees who we're building this for, or should I say with and for, and told them that based off of value, right, we was able to add about another 288 square feet worth of space. So now you double it up and got a second living room. You got more space. It didn't cost too much more. Let's just say it cost about $5,000 to be able to do this because you got framing, materials, labor. You got to put flooring down. Now we're going to have to do a couple other little things, paint. But because you did this, you might have added another $30,000, $34,000, $35,000 worth of value. So just always remember, space is always good. I know people want to have that grandeur, and you can still do that, but always think about the value. Always think about the bottom line number. Always think about comfortability. Always think about efficiency when it comes to a family having this space. You have 4 bedrooms up here. Now, the one thing I may have done differently, which is just all preference, is that they wanted to have a railing system here. So it's going to look nice. It's going to look beautiful. I would have preferred to build a wall here. The only reason for that is if I'm downstairs or the family downstairs, I just feel like it'd be more soundproof to have a wall here. So if you got the kids up here playing, it's not traveling downstairs, or vice versa. I feel like it gives you a little bit more enclosure and privacy. So this the master. We end up doing a drop ceiling. A drop ceiling just means that, as you can see, it's higher here in the middle. We're going to run some lighting around there, and then we'll run some crown molding. So then you can hit the light and you can have different colors, set that mood. Then you walk straight over into the master bathroom. You have a sink here, sink there, stand-up shower, toilet, room, and then you have your walk-in closet. Prefer to have his and hers, but once again, we end up just doing a big walk-in closet because of the constraints of the floor plan. This is how it was built out, so we went ahead and rolled with it. They're going to have a lot of space here for sure. Go to the right, you got another ensuite. So you got 3 bedrooms that has its own bathroom. You open the door, and they got their own shower, toilet, sink. They come in back here, they got their bedroom, and then they have their closet. You might see little things like this. This is our ductwork. Because of our LVL beams, because we can't cut through them, we have to figure out ways to get the ductwork all the way around to downstairs. So once the guys came in, they ran the ductwork, we walked through it. We'll go ahead and close this in. So whenever you buy a house or go look at a house and you just see like something like this that looks like an extra wall or a curve or anything like that, that's normally because you got ductwork behind there. So I got all electrical. We passed mechanical. We passed HVAC already. We have passed electrical already. Once we pass plumbing, then we can get to our framing inspection. Once we get past framing inspection, then we can get to insulation inspection. This right here is our little laundry room. You can tell with the pipe, this is going to be the washing machine. That's going to be the dryer. You're going to have your look over. We're going to put a nice chandelier right there. And then you got 2 more bedrooms here. And you got the shared bathroom. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5 bath. In your bathtub, when you are doing rough ends, you have to have the bathtubs installed and you have to run pressure. So pressure means we ran it all the way up. Outside, we put a stopper in there so that the water is running through all the drain pipes at this point. If there was a leak, this water would start going down. So this is the test to make sure that there are no leaks going on in the drain pipes. So make sure you have your bathtub early. And that goes back to making sure that you purchase stuff on time. When your plumbers are ready to do their install, make sure that you have your bathtub stuff. Make sure that you have your plumbing fixtures because they're going to need the rough valve to install at this time. What are rough valves? It's just this right here. It's your rough end valve. That's going to be your turn knob to turn your shower on or your tub on. So they only need that, and then you take back your plumbing fixtures, which is your shower head, the little tub, spigot. You take that back with you. Let them install that. Last bedroom. So you got 4 up here. Another chase that we built out. So you can see that. Got our windows in. You got your wrap. I don't know if you walked around the house already, but we'll walk around the house. You can see they doing the siding right now. So in DeKalb County, you have to do what's called a pre-cladding inspection. Pre-cladding is that they're going to be looking at your wrap. They're going to be looking at your windows and your exterior doors. When you do that, you need to make sure that your windows have the tape on there. They're going to make sure that it's sealed in properly, that your house is wrapped. That's just a defense for having moisture come into the house. So when it rains, you're going to have your roof shingles to help disperse water. You're going to have your siding that helps in case it gets behind the siding. You got the house wrap. If it gets behind the house wrap, you got your sheathing. So therefore, you got a couple layers of defense from allowing water to come into your house. So they're going to just check on that before you put on your siding to make sure that everything is done correctly. So a lot of people don't like inspectors and inspections. Now, I will say it is some assholes out there like that. It ain't no buts about it. It ain't no way around it. However, I can say to protect your investment, they can be a very valuable tool because even though I have to study and I have to look and go through all the books, it's no way for one person to understand all the codes of all these books. They understand the code. They understand it. So when your electrician do something he's not supposed to do, guess what? They're going to catch it for you and do the work for you to make sure that everything is done right. So buddy up to the inspectors. Make sure you greet them. I've had some butting heads, but at the end of the day, I still try to make sure to be humble because they can make your life a living hell if you try to push back too much. So any questions, make sure you hit us up. We're going to have the YouTube page. You know, the Instagram, slbresidentialbuilder. You want to take the class, go to www.buildforyoucourses.com. You can always hit us up, always ask questions. Don't mind giving away free game, but to really understand this process, the class is going to be invaluable to you. But what's even more is what you get after the class. Once you learn the steps in the process to actually go through this building process, you know, it's going to be life changing. Because once again, if you do 1 project a year, 2 projects a year, and you can make $100,000. And when I say that, please remember, that's you doing the job by yourself. If you hire us to do turnkey, we have to get paid too. So you might not make that $100,000. Some people get very close, some do make it. But even if you make $60,000, just think about it. You got experience, you didn't lose no money, you made money, the knowledge that you get, it's going to be immensely invaluable. And then once you do a couple of builds on your own, then you start learning how to do it on yourself, how to find land, how to look for everything. And then you off to the races running. When I started, I didn't have no help. So this is all self-taught right here. I got my ass whooped a few times. And everybody who took the class, you know how much I lost. It took me years to bounce back. But at the end of the day, I take that and I learn from it. And now we where we at now. Well, we got about 15 houses going at the same time. It's a lot. It's overwhelming at times. But because we got a great team, a great process, it does make it a whole lot easier. So make sure to follow us, keep in contact, and let's get it. Here, flashing here, right?
Flashing, metal flashing.
Yep, metal flashing.
Metal flashing. We look here.
Yeah.
For the first one. Yeah.
Question, do you put flashing up behind here?
And yeah, another job is gonna be little pitch. It's for
Okay,
like
correct.
whatever
And we'll paint it white
yeah,
the same way. So, but yeah,
This painted is gonna be painted together. No, I'm not painted separate. You know, and just gonna be painted. No, see the metal. I mean, the metal flashing.
flashing so thin, so you wouldn't even be able to see it, and it looked like one straight line
yeah, one
instead
straight
of the
line.
break in the line.